My favorite thing about learning is feeling accomplished after I pick up that skill or understand that topic that I'm learning. If you don't understand what you're talking about, people that you're training won't be receptive to what you're communicating.
Welcome to Mastering ServiceTitan, where you get expert advice from power users. I'm your host, Josh Liu, and today I'm here with Tim Newhook, the training specialist at HomeX, and we're going to talk about all things training and then deep dive into mobile, which I think is a great topic because mobile users are like our biggest group of users on ServiceTitan, and so super excited to have you on the podcast today.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
I saw you yesterday and you had like 5 pins.
Yep.
And I was like, we got to get you on the podcast. And so maybe to open up, can you share what are those 5 pins? What do they represent? And
Sure.
What got you into training and all that?
Of course. So the 5 pins that you saw on my lanyard were representing the 5 different certifications that I have in ServiceTitan. So I have my residential administrator, which I got first. I got that actually about a year ago. Last July was my first time that I got a certification. And then I got my CSR and dispatch, because that's one of the other departments that I train on top of technicians. I also then got my inventory management certification because we have a strong focus on inventory right now at HomeX Services Group. My next certification that I got was the construction certification because we're going to start incorporating ServiceTitan into a lot of our construction workflows. And then I just recently, about 2 weeks ago, got my commercial certified intact certification because I just want to know more about invoicing and stuff like that on the commercial side. So,
Yeah,
good stuff.
It's amazing. Before we started recording, I was just asking Tim all about his learning process and everything because you came from the restaurant industry.
Yep.
So 2 years ago, you knew nothing about the trades.
Nothing. So I came from the restaurant industry. I built a relationship with someone from GEM at the restaurant that I worked at previously. And then he gave me an opportunity. He said that we need a trainer at GEM. I told him to kick rocks basically because I come from the restaurant industry. I thought about it a little bit more and I took the leap, and here I am 2.5 years later. So it's good stuff.
And the impression that I got from you is that it seems like one of your superpowers is learning. And then I would guess being such a good learner makes you a really good teacher.
Yep.
And I'm really curious, what do you think makes you so good at learning, and what's your favorite thing about teaching?
I love this question. That's actually, no one's asked me that before, so I'm excited to answer that for you. My favorite thing about learning is feeling accomplished after I pick up that skill or understand that topic that I'm learning, because if I don't understand it, no one else is going to understand it, right? And I can't answer questions or be able to provide support for the organization. So feeling accomplished after I learn whatever that is kind of what I love about learning primarily. How that correlates to training, like I said before, if you don't understand what you're talking about, people that you're training won't be receptive to what you're communicating, right? So you have to be reputable and you got to make sure that you know what you're talking about so that way you can answer questions and be supportive. So
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And what's the day-to-day look like as a training specialist for HomeX?
It's a little bit all over the place. So not in any chaotic way. There could be one day where I'm doing a new hire training session for new technicians coming on board. And that's about a 2-day session where we go over customer service. We have a ServiceTitan portion, all that kind of stuff. We could also have a 2-week session where we're training CSRs or dispatchers oncoming. So we do acquisitions. So sometimes we'll go to like a new company that we just acquired and we'll train ServiceTitan there. Those are like longer projects, like 3-4 weeks. So we'll be there on site with the new technicians and coordinators and all that kind of stuff going over ServiceTitan. So it really just depends on what our focus is at the time. But we are either at the command center or one of our platforms, really just providing that support every single day. So,
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And then yesterday when we first met, I was like, ooh, what topic should we talk about on the podcast? And you said mobile. Like,
Yes.
You're pretty excited about
mobile. The first
mobile.
thing I said was mobile, yeah.
Yeah, why does mobile excite you so much?
So I had to really learn and understand mobile as part of one of the first things I did at HomeX. So when I came to GEM, we wanted to build out our technician new hire training program. That was one of our biggest things that we were focusing on at the time. It was kind of all over the place and we wanted to make it structured. We implemented some customer service training. We also did a lot of ServiceTitan training as well, obviously. So that required me to really just like go into academy and learn mobile as much as I could. I did a whole bunch of ride-alongs with technicians so I can ask questions and see how they use it. Seeing that in real time over the first 3 weeks that I worked at GEM and HomeX really made an impact because I was able to see them click certain buttons and ask questions and really just kind of understand why we use the app before I went into learning the app. So it was a cool experience. And to this day, I train mobile every single day. We make training guides about mobile. I have access right now to the new Field Mobile app, so I'm learning that so we can train that in a few months to our organization. So I'm very passionate about the mobile app because it's the first thing that I understood about ServiceTitan. And I think that if you are someone who works in operations or someone in the office, you really need to understand mobile, in my opinion, to understand how ServiceTitan as a whole works, right? If you are just an office employee and you don't have that mobile knowledge, you can't really understand why things happen on the office side when a technician clicks a button. You know what I mean? So it's understanding both sides of it is really, really key to my role, really. So.
Oh man, I have so many questions to follow up. A Field
Yeah.
Mobile app, I definitely want to dive into Field Mobile app. Before we get there though, for the office staff, if there's any office staff listening to this podcast right now and they want to get more familiar with mobile, what advice would you have for them to help them get up to speed?
One word, ride-alongs. I know that's not the easiest thing to do, from an office perspective, but if you have that flexibility, the ride-alongs really do help. Just seeing it in real time, taking the pictures, creating the estimates, how they turn those estimates to the invoice and the scenarios on which you want to put those estimates on the invoice and when you don't want to do that, communicating with dispatch via ServiceTitan, all those different things, seeing that in real time is just really impactful. So ride-alongs is key. It also helps build your relationship with your technicians as well. So,
Right.
yeah.
And so you've trained so many technicians now on mobile. What do you think are the biggest challenges that technicians have when they're first learning ServiceTitan?
I say the biggest thing that techs struggle with is the invoicing piece of it. And not like putting together estimates and stuff like that, but understanding what an invoice is, how the balance is there, how to see if you need to collect more of a payment, and just understanding just the invoice tab in general and why it's so important to the overall customer experience, like making sure that everything on that invoice summary is correct. So I would say that's one of the biggest pieces, just because that's one of the biggest things I get questions on all the time is, why do we have two signatures? Why is there a balance? Why do I need to add another payment? You know what I mean? Having them understand that is crucial, but that's one of the biggest things that we cover in the training during a new hire session. So
Actually, could you give us a peek behind the curtain and walk us through what does that invoicing part of your training look like, and how do you like to structure that?
So the best way that I do training in general, in my opinion, is so everyone will have a tablet from, onboarding and stuff. We'll get them into practice mode and they'll do all the invoicing features and functions with me while I'm doing it on the screen. So I have my iPad, I have a practice job up, we're going through each tab in ServiceTitan and they're doing the same exact thing. So like when I click a button, they're clicking a button. As long as you have that hands-on experience, they're really gonna pick it up really fast.
Yeah, I feel like it's pretty hard to watch a video and then be like expected to learn it. There's no like bridge of like, hey, this is like some idea out there versus like, what am I supposed to actually do? So I like that you have them just follow along hands-on. From there, once they've followed along, they've like done it once, where do you go next?
So after that, usually we'll do like either like a 2-day session where we'll break up the ServiceTitan training, or we'll do like one long day. Either way, at the end of the session, what I do is I have this activity sheet where I want the technician to complete certain tasks or different things in ServiceTitan Mobile before they go out in the field. So that way I can verify that they did those things. And I'm like, okay, you're good. If they have questions on specific things, they can circle that and we can go back to that in the training again. Really just verifying that they can do those functions before they leave the training is crucial. So we do it with a checklist.
Got it. So you have a checklist. They have to like do an invoice, get it paid, get it signed, something like that.
Yep.
Okay.
They dispatch arrive, they look at the contact details, they make 3 estimates, they convert one of them to the invoice. They do literally an entire workflow. So
Okay.
It's cool.
And then as soon as the training ends, do they just go out into the field and then do it live now with customers, or?
So it depends. Depends on the platform. We have some technicians that are onboarded that have ServiceTitan experience. We found at HomeX Services Group that through like acquisitions and hiring and stuff that no one uses ServiceTitan 100% the exact same way, obviously, right? Because everyone has different features and products and stuff. So it's really understanding what that person knows about ServiceTitan already and seeing what they need to learn. But yeah.
For anyone, if they're listening and they are also a trainer or they do a lot of training with technicians, what general advice or lessons have you learned, especially in that first year, about how to be better as a trainer for them?
Love that question too. It's really making sure that we have that hands-on functionality, having the practice mode open for those technicians. We also hand out a guide, like a printable guide for the technicians, so that way they can use those resources or tools after they leave the training. Making sure that you have visual, like things on the board, like, myself, I have my iPad, I walk through the ServiceTitan call with a technician, and then also having them be able to write notes as you're going through the training is really important. So there's 3 different styles of learning. There's like auditory, visual, and then kinesthetic, which is like actually performing the work. So as long as you incorporate those 3 ideologies into the training, it's really going to be a successful one.
Yeah, I want to reiterate that one about having them take notes, because then if they're not taking notes, maybe they're just like sitting back, just like it's in one ear out the other.
Yep.
So I like that you're in a sense not forcing them, but like encouraging them to be engaged.
Here are your tools, use them,
Yeah.
So 100%.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, now I do want to dive into the Field Mobile app. I know there's some big announcements coming. I'm not sure if they've been announced yet for Field Mobile app, maybe in the next session.
I was going to say, that's what I'm going to next, so we'll see what happens.
We're pretty excited about that.
Yeah.
But what have been your impressions of the Field Mobile app, like going from a tablet to a phone, and how's that transition been so far?
So we haven't rolled out the Field Mobile app at our platform yet, but I have been able to do some testing with it. I think it's a really cool app. I can't wait for us to be able to use it. We have a lot of technicians that prefer to use the phone over the tablet, so I'm really excited about the capability of using the phone rather than the tablet, just because it's going to be a lot more easier for the technician to not carry an iPad into the house, So as visual as that might look, a phone is a little bit more convenient for the technician, in my opinion. So it's really cool that they have that. I think the scanning of the equipment is amazing, how you can just scan an equipment plate and that just goes into ServiceTitan. But I think one of the biggest things that we really try to reiterate to the technicians when they're out in the field is to collect that equipment, into ServiceTitan if they're working on it. So having that ability to just take a picture of the plate and just have it go into ServiceTitan, amazing.
How do they do it now? Do they have to
Type
in
it?
Oh, on the tablet?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Gotcha.
I did make a training guide for our technicians, so that way they can take a photo of the equipment plate, go into their Photos app, copy the model and serial number, and just paste it into ServiceTitan. But this is just going to make things 10 times easier for them. So good stuff.
Shortcuts it by a bunch.
Yeah.
Any other impressions when you started playing around with the phone version, the Field Mobile app?
Yeah, I loved how, I feel like with the old mobile app or the current mobile app that we currently use, there's many different ways to do the same function. And it seems like everything is grouped together in this mobile app. So it seems more fluid, it's easier to go through the job and, figure out what the things that you need to do. And I think that also comes with having the phone capability on there too, right? Being able to use the phone instead of a tablet, you got to make things more compact. And I think they really did a good job of that too. So
yeah, I was just talking to David Erickson. I'm not sure. Have you met him at the mobile app booth?
I don't think so yet, but I'm going to make sure I go over there now.
Yeah, I'll have to introduce you to him because he oversees mobile app strategy at ServiceTitan.
Okay.
And we were diving into Field Mobile app, and to me, it was mind-blowing because I was like, how do you get all that information from a tablet onto such a small screen?
Yeah.
And
they did it.
Yeah, the main.
It's good.
I'm glad you have a great first impression with it. And I think the main things he was focused on, one is like the performance, so you don't have to like keep syncing and stuff like that. Everything should be real time.
Love that price book update from the office. I think that's really, really cool. So yeah.
And then the second thing he was saying was the design. So it's interesting, you said in the tablet, like the older app, there's too many ways to do the same thing. So it feels like they redesigned it from the ground up.
Yep.
To make it more seamless.
And you can really tell. And the push notifications, I've gotten a few of those. Those are going to be really great for the technicians because that way they don't have to keep checking ServiceTitan over and over while they're in a customer's home. So all these new little things that we didn't realize we were missing before, now that they're there, I can't wait to start using them too. So
yeah, what are your guys' plans with Field Mobile app, and how are you strategizing the rollout for that? Because it's a big change.
Great question. So our company, HomeX, we have about 1,500 technicians. So that's one of the big things that we just keep thinking about is how are we going to do this, right? So I know that currently we have commercial and construction users on the Field Mobile app, and there are a few residential customers on there as well. At ServiceTitan, no one at HomeX is currently using the Field Mobile app. So we're going to determine which departments and which trades can best utilize the Field Mobile app, roll it out with them first, and then slowly roll it out to everyone else as we need to. So yeah.
Do you guys have a sense of which trades are going to be best suited first?
We're going to start with commercial and construction first, I believe, just because they use ServiceTitan primarily for like time tracking and stuff, and notes and photos in the job. And then we're gonna have our residential techs we're gonna roll it out softly to each department inside of each organization, so that way we can kind of get feedback and testing and all that kind of stuff before we have everyone use it at one time. We're gonna determine which departments can use it now, and then kind of go from there as we keep developing stuff.
Yeah, and once you find a department, what's your rollout strategy? Do you pick a few technicians first and go from there?
So we're gonna start with that. We're going to kind of determine who uses ServiceTitan the best right now within those groups and have them transition first. Just that way it's a little bit more easier for a rollout and stuff. We can get the best feedback from those users because we can kind of filter out any of the training opportunities that they might bring up to us and stuff like that. we're going to do a few people first in each department and then kind of roll out from there. So,
Okay,
yeah.
perfect. Is there any mobile feature that you think is like really underrated or people should be using more that they don't?
The phone capture link where you can, well, actually, I don't know if that's even in the new Field mobile app, but in the current mobile app where you can send a link to your work device or your work phone and upload those photos from your work phone to your device. I think that feature is really underused. I also don't see a lot of users using the doodle feature and the photos as much
the
either.
doodle feature.
Yeah, so I feel like once I show current users that feature, they're like mind blown. So I think that's one of the biggest features with photos that we don't use, because if it's a technician converting a lead to a comfort advisor, you can mark up those photos really easily, and I think that we're not utilizing that enough right now. So yeah.
Wow, that's such a good feature to mark it up, because like sometimes a photo could be dark or whatever, things can be hard to see.
Yeah,
so
and
point something else.
sometimes you just see a photo and you're like, what am I supposed to be looking at, right? So it's an easy way for you to be able to circle things or point something out with an arrow. I would like to see more technicians using that feature. So
where do they find that in the app?
So if they click in a photo, all they have to do is click the ellipsis on the top right once they're in the actual photo, and they can go to doodle, and then they can start drawing away.
Start drawing, okay.
Are you testing me?
I know, I put you on the spot there. But for anybody listening, open up your tablet app and then take a photo and then go to the ellipses upper right.
Yeah, just
and you
like
can start
click into the
doodling right
photo
away.
in photos and videos, and then there should be ellipsis on the top right, and then you can click doodle in there.
Okay, perfect.
Cool stuff.
Okay, last question, Tim. What are you looking forward to most for the rest of Pantheon?
I'm excited for the party tonight, and I'm also excited to continue just learning about the new features. I just came from an Enterprise Hub session, and we currently use some of the features in Enterprise Hub, but the new ones that they have coming out really seem to be tailored to how we operate at HomeX. The Field mobile app is next, and I'm really excited about that one.
Yeah, there's a big announcement coming there, so
Nice.
I think you're going to be mind blown with that. And then
Cool.
I'll have to introduce you to David to give him some feedback and just hear a little bit more. So
Sure.
yeah, thank you so much for coming on today and
Thanks for
sharing
having
your wisdom with our audience.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you.